Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that constantly demands our attention, pulls us in different directions, and fills our days with noise, we often overlook one of the most powerful forces we have at our disposal: the power of being alone. Today, I want to explore why being alone is not a curse, but rather a gift. Alone time is not a signal of weakness, nor is it a space filled with loneliness. It is a fertile ground for growth, discovery, and empowerment. It is the opportunity to discover the greatest version of yourself. Let's begin by clarifying something important. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is an emotional state, a feeling of emptiness, often caused by a lack of connection with others. But solitude, my friends, is a state of peace, clarity, and self-sufficiency. In solitude, we are not deprived, we are enriched. When we learn to embrace being alone, we find that we are never truly alone because we connect with our own spirit. When you spend time alone, it becomes a powerful opportunity for self-discovery. How often do we rush through life caught in the endless cycle of doing for others, meeting others' expectations, or chasing after approval? Being alone provides the space to ask, who am I really? It strips away the layers of external influence. It gives us a chance to look within, to rediscover the person we were meant to be before the world shaped us. In solitude, there is clarity. The noise of the world fades, and we are left with the truth of our own desires, goals, and purpose. The distractions vanish, and we are able to tune into what truly matters. It is in those quiet moments, away from the crowd, that we hear the whisper of our purpose. We see clearly the path that lies before us, unclouded by the opinions or expectations of others. Solitude also strengthens our inner resolve. It builds the foundation of resilience that we need to face life's challenges. Alone, we confront our weaknesses, fears, and vulnerabilities, and in that confrontation, we gain strength. When you are comfortable in your own company, you can stand firm in your decisions, confident in your own judgment, and empowered to take control of your life. And let's talk about creativity. How often have we experienced a flood of ideas and inspiration when we are alone? Without the distractions of the world, our minds can roam freely unburdened. Creativity thrives in solitude. Some of the greatest works of art, literature, and innovation have been birthed in moments of quiet, unobserved, and uninterrupted. Alone time gives us the freedom to imagine, to innovate, and to create without limits. But solitude is not just about personal development and creativity. It is also about spiritual connection. In the stillness of being alone, we find a deeper connection to the divine, to the universe, and to the essence of who we are. It is in those quiet moments of solitude that we are often most in tune with our spirit, allowing us to grow spiritually in ways that are hard to achieve in the midst of a crowded world. When we embrace being alone, we become empowered. Solitude is not about isolation, it's about freedom. The more time we spend alone, the more we realize that we are capable of standing on our own, of living life on our own terms. Alone time allows us to take control of our destiny, to focus on our growth, and to live authentically without seeking approval from others. It's a journey of becoming who we were meant to be. Growth, as we all know, is not always easy, but it is necessary.
Now everything is digital, especially these days with the use of the metaverse or even artificial intelligence. So this is key for us. The characteristic of this master is it has a digital mindset. Our masters try to provide the students with all the tools in digital technology. We cannot pretend to have our lives anymore without cell phones or computers. And that's what we are trying to accomplish with our students, to facilitate them the use of those tools towards their next job. We have a pilot program about the metaverse. We will be teaching through the metaverse to students who are around the world. They can interact with other students, they can interact directly, with the professor, and they can be connected all the time to the university, and they can work on their own leisure and their own time. So the metaverse will provide them with a universe where they will find all the elements for their learning. Digital communications and digital media change on a daily basis. So you have to understand that you have to be ready to learn new things every single day. The students will develop their own materials and their own animation, their own podcasts and videos, etc. So when they leave, they will have a huge curriculum in terms of developing different kind of products that they can show when they look for work.
How to create dope t-shirt designs for a print-on-demand store. Whether you're creating t-shirt designs for clients or for yourself, it can be hard to start from just a blank canvas. And that's why tons of professional designers and I myself use Kittl. For one, there's literally thousands of templates for every popular niche that you could think of. Two, there's unlimited illustration content, because for myself, it's hard to start off with nothing, and it's a lot easier to start off with some inspiration. So as you can see, there's lots of templates that you can choose from, especially if you're doing a t-shirt design. And let me show you exactly how easy it is to edit. So all I'm going to do is click on this one right here, and now you're pretty much free to edit all these elements however you would like to edit it. And what's also cool is that you can create multiple artboards on just one project alone. So for example, if you have a sleeve print on your t-shirt design, we can go ahead and create another artboard in the exact dimensions that we want it to be. And we can also create, for example, if this is the back, we can make this a front left pocket print. So we can also name it back, front, left, chest, sleeve. Now all we have to do is click this right here, edit the text, and check this out. How simple it's going to change it to the exact way that it looked Right now it's showing us what we're spelling out, but it's going to be really simple for it to change. And now we're going to do the same thing for this one right here. And there we have it. Now we can delete what we don't like and we can keep what we do like as well. It's really simple to make changes. For example, maybe I just want this to be a really simple design. I'm just going to move this down here, move this text right here, so it's a little bit more easier to read. I do like this right here. And let's go ahead and move some of these stars as well. And now that we have that, I'm going to click on this one right here. And let's say, for example, you wanted to move this text to the front. Layers is also not a problem on here. So you can even bring this to the front, or you can go ahead and move the layers around down here to whatever it is that you may like. And let's say, for example, we wanted to add this text right here to the sleeve. We can copy it, paste it, and I'm just going to drag it on over and check that out right there. Now I have this text also for my sleeve print, and I can also bring this right here. And let's say if we just wanted a text of our brand for the front print, I'm going to go ahead and copy this right here, paste this again, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it on over to this artboard. And they also make it really, really easy for you to change colors just like that. So for example, if I had a white garment and maybe I wanted to see what a different color may look like, so I could simply change the colors really easily. But what's also cool about Kittl, you can also see what the mockup's going to look like right on this exact same platform. So I'm going to click on mockup right here. So I'm going to click on the artboard that I want to see on a mockup. And there we have it right there. You can see the mockup right there. So it's easy for you to post this on your store or send this to your clients. Kittl has completely changed the game when it comes to creating t-shirt designs. It's really simple and easy now. If you want to give this a shot, go ahead and click the link and you can try this for free today.
Solitude is where growth happens. It's in these quiet moments that we confront the parts of ourselves that need improvement, that we overcome our weaknesses, and that we become stronger, more resilient versions of ourselves. Growth doesn't always happen in the noise. It happens in the stillness, in the moments when we're alone with our thoughts, our dreams, and our aspirations. Lastly, let's speak about detachment from external validation. In our society, we are constantly seeking approval from others, be it from family, friends, or society at large. But when we spend time alone, we learn that the most important approval is the one we give ourselves. Alone time teaches us that we don't need to seek validation from others to feel whole. We are enough just as we are, and we can create our own value, standing firm in our truth. In a silence and solitude, we find the greatest wisdom and understanding. Stillness brings clarity, insight, and peace. It is in the quiet moments of being alone that we tap into a deeper understanding of life, of the world around us, and of ourselves. It's in that stillness that we are often able to hear our deepest truths, unencumbered by external noise. So I challenge you today, embrace the power of being alone. Don't fear the solitude, don't avoid it. Instead, seek it out. Learn to be at peace with your own company. In the stillness, in the quiet, you will find a strength that you never knew you had. You will discover a clarity that will guide you toward your purpose. You will unlock your creativity, build resilience, and find a deeper spiritual connection. Being alone is not a weakness. It is the greatest source of power you will ever have. It is in the moments of solitude that you will find your strength, your purpose, and your true self. So, spend time alone and watch how your life transforms. Being alone is often misunderstood. People tend to equate solitude with loneliness, yet they are two entirely different experiences. To be alone means to be by yourself, free from the company of others. It is a physical state that can be chosen or circumstantial. However, being lonely is an emotional state, a feeling of sadness or isolation that arises from the lack of meaningful connections with others. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. On the other hand, being alone does not necessarily mean loneliness. It can be an empowering, rejuvenating, and introspective time if approached with the right mindset. When you are alone, there's an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to experience moments of peace and stillness that allow for clarity of thought and reflection. It is in these moments that we can step away from the constant noise of the world and examine our own thoughts, desires, and dreams. Being alone offers the space to be introspective, to explore our inner worlds, and to understand what we truly value and want in life. Loneliness, however, occurs when we feel disconnected from others, when the absence of social interaction creates an emotional void. It can make us feel unimportant or misunderstood, leading to feelings of sadness or even despair. Loneliness often arises from the lack of meaningful relationships or from an inability to connect with others on a deeper level. It is not about being alone physically, it is about the absence of emotional fulfillment. The key difference between being alone and feeling lonely lies in how we choose to respond to solitude. Being alone can be a conscious choice, a decision to take a break from the demands and expectations of others. It allows us to reset, recharge, and reflect. In contrast, loneliness is a feeling that arises when we crave companionship or emotional connection, but are unable to find it. I think power in being alone because it grants us the freedom to become more self-reliant and independent. When we embrace solitude, we learn to find comfort within ourselves rather than seeking validation from the outside world. Being alone can be a time of personal growth, where we discover our true desires, confront our fears, and work towards self-improvement. We begin to understand that we do not need others to complete us. We are complete in our own right. Loneliness, however, can be a difficult emotion to overcome, especially if it stems from a lack of connection with others. But the key to overcoming loneliness is not simply to fill the empty space with people or distractions. It's to learn to embrace the discomfort, to understand that solitude, when approached with intention, is a natural part of life. It teaches us the value of self-love, and over time, it allows us to build stronger, more meaningful relationships because we have learned to be content with ourselves first. The distinction between being alone and being lonely is rooted in perspective. When we view solitude as a gift, as an opportunity for personal growth and reflection, we can transform being alone into a powerful experience. When we view it as a void or a source of sadness, it can lead to feelings of isolation and despair. The choice is ours, whether we allow being alone to become an enriching journey of self-discovery, or whether we let loneliness define our experience. Self-discovery is one of the most powerful and transformative processes that can take place in our lives. It begins when we step away from the noise, the distractions, and the expectations of the outside world and turn inward to explore who we truly are at our core. In a world that often pressures us to fit into predefined roles or follow societal norms, self-discovery provides the space to reconnect with our authentic self, to uncover our deepest desires, strengths, weaknesses, and values. When we engage in self-discovery, we start to peel back the layers that have accumulated over the years, the layers shaped by the opinions, judgments, and influences of others. These layers often obscure our true identity and prevent us from fully realizing our potential. In solitude, we can begin to shed those layers and reconnect with the essence of who we are, independent of external validation or approval. Self-discovery is not just about identifying our passions or interests. It's also about understanding our fears, insecurities, and limitations. It's about becoming aware of the internal narratives we have about ourselves, which can either empower or hinder us. By engaging with our fears and doubts in a quiet space, we can understand why they exist and begin to challenge the beliefs that hold us back. In this process, we develop a deeper sense of compassion for ourselves as we learn to embrace both our strengths
Getting a shipping quote just got so much easier. Lightning fast. Quick quotes for full flexibility. Or quick quotes spot for fixed guaranteed rates.
and our flaws. At the heart of self-discovery is the realization that we are in control of our own identity. Too often, we let other people or circumstances dictate who we should be. But in moments of self-reflection, we recognize that we have the power to define ourselves. We learn that we are not beholden to the expectations of others, but rather we are free to follow our own path, aligned with our true values and desires. This freedom is liberating because it allows us to take ownership of our lives and make choices that are in harmony with our inner truth. Self-discovery also involves identifying what brings us joy, fulfillment, and meaning. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. But when we carve out time for ourselves, we can reconnect with our inner passions and desires. This might be a passion for creativity, for helping others, for learning, or for exploring the world. Whatever it is, self-discovery helps us realize what lights up our spirit and brings us a sense of purpose. The journey of self-discovery is not always easy, as it requires vulnerability, courage, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. But it is through this process that we grow, evolve, and become more aligned with our true self. It's about getting comfortable with the idea that we are constantly evolving and that it's okay to change our minds, adjust our goals, and redefine who we are along the way. Self-discovery is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing journey that deepens over time as we learn more about ourselves and the world around us. Self-discovery is about finding peace within ourselves. It's about understanding that we don't need to look outside ourselves for validation or approval. When we know who we truly are, when we embrace our own worth and uniqueness, we stop seeking external validation and start living authentically. We move through life with more confidence, more clarity, and more purpose because we are no longer trying to be someone we are not. Instead, we are living as the best version of ourselves, grounded in self-awareness and self-acceptance. Clarity of purpose is one of the most essential aspects of a fulfilled life. It acts as a guiding force, a compass that directs our actions, decisions, and goals. Without clarity, life can feel scattered, as if we are wandering aimlessly without a true sense of direction. When we are clear about our purpose, every step we take aligns with our greater vision, and even the challenges we face become meaningful as they serve as opportunities for growth. Along the way. The path to clarity often begins in silence and solitude, away from the noise and distractions that cloud our thinking. In the midst of daily life, it can be easy to become overwhelmed by external pressures, society's expectations, family demands, the pursuit of material success, or the opinions of others. These distractions can cause us to lose sight of our own values and passions, leading us to chase after goals that may not truly resonate with us. It is only when we retreat into ourselves, allowing time for reflection and introspection, that we can hear the quiet whisper of our true desires. When we gain clarity of purpose, we gain the ability to filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. This clarity acts as a filter through which we can evaluate opportunities, relationships, and decisions. It allows us to discern what aligns with our values and vision and what does not. Without clarity, we may chase after things that are fleeting, that bring temporary satisfaction, but do not contribute to our long-term well-being. With clarity, however, every decision becomes intentional, every action a step toward fulfilling our greater purpose. Clarity of purpose also provides a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. When we know why we are doing something, when we understand the deeper meaning behind our actions, we can invest ourselves fully in our pursuits. This sense of purpose makes even the most mundane tasks feel meaningful, because we are working towards something greater than ourselves. It gives us the energy and motivation to persevere through challenges, because we know that our efforts are contributing to something significant. Furthermore, having clarity of purpose creates a sense of alignment within us. Our thoughts, words, and actions become congruent with our core values and beliefs. This internal alignment fosters a deep sense of peace and confidence. We no longer feel torn in different directions, pulled by the opinions and expectations of others. Instead, we act from a place of certainty and authenticity, knowing that we are walking the path that is meant for us. The journey to clarity, however, is not always instant. It often takes time, patience, and continuous self-exploration. It may involve unlearning old beliefs, confronting fears, and letting go of limiting narratives. But the beauty of clarity is that once it is found, it creates a powerful ripple effect throughout our lives. Decisions become easier to make because we know what truly matters. Relationships become more meaningful because we attract people who resonate with our purpose. Our actions become more intentional as they are aligned with our values. Clarity of purpose also offers resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges our way, and without a clear purpose, we may falter or become disillusioned. But when we are rooted in our purpose, we can weather storms with greater strength. Purpose acts as a shield, protecting us from discouragement and disheartenment, because we understand that obstacles are just part of the journey. Each setback becomes an opportunity to learn and grow, and each success becomes a confirmation that we are on the right path. Having clarity of purpose ultimately brings us a deeper connection to life. It allows us to live more fully, to embrace each moment with intention, and to engage in pursuits that reflect our true self. It eliminates the constant search for external validation or fleeting desires, and instead grounds us in the knowledge that we are on a meaningful path. In a world that often tries to pull us in many directions, clarity of purpose gives us the strength to remain focused and steadfast, knowing that we are living in alignment with the deepest desires of our soul. Inner strength and independence are foundational qualities that shape how we navigate life's challenges and make choices that align with our true selves. These qualities are not simply about physical power or the ability to stand alone in moments of adversity. They go much deeper, rooted in our emotional resilience, mental clarity, and the self-awareness that comes from embracing who we are at our core. Inner strength is not something that is given to us by others, but something we cultivate from within. And independence is the ability to make decisions and take actions that reflect our values without seeking validation or approval from outside forces. To cultivate inner strength, we must first learn to understand and confront our vulnerabilities. True strength doesn't come from avoiding weakness or pretending to be invulnerable. It comes from facing our fears, doubts, and uncertainties head on and choosing to persevere despite them. Each time we face a difficulty and choose not to give up, we strengthen our inner resolve. In moments of hardship, it's easy to feel like we're breaking, but it's often in those moments of feeling vulnerable that we discover the depths of our own resilience. We realize that while we may be knocked down, we have the ability to rise again, each time a little stronger than before. Being independent does not mean isolating ourselves from others or rejecting relationships or support. Instead, it is about developing the confidence to make choices that are true to our own needs, desires, and goals without being overly influenced by others. When we are truly independent, we can stand firm in our beliefs and values, even when they differ from the opinions of those around us. This independence allows us to set boundaries that protect our peace and prioritize our personal growth, knowing that we are responsible for our own happiness and fulfillment. Independence fosters the courage to trust ourselves and our judgment, realizing that we are capable of navigating life's challenges without relying on the approval or direction the power of inner strength and independence, ability to embrace solitude. In times of solitude, perspective, and reconnect with our inner voice. This process is essential for from within and the expectations pressures that are placed upon us by society, family, or peers. Solitude allows our authentic selves to reaffirm our values and to realign our decisions. Comfortable in our own company, we no longer feel for validation or fulfillment. We begin to realize that true independence comes from being at peace with ourselves, no matter what external circumstances may arise. Inner strength and independence empower us to take responsibility for our own lives. They remind us that we have the power to shape our destiny, that we are not victims of circumstances, but active creators of our experiences. This realization leads to an incredible sense of freedom as we recognize that we have the ability to make choices. Even in the face of uncertainty, that are aligned with our inner truth. The more we exercise inner strength, the more we feel empowered to take ownership of our actions. We stop waiting for permission or we take bold, decisive steps, trusting ourselves and our ability to adapt, grow, and succeed. In addition to navigate challenges, inner strength and independence enhance our capacity to create meaningful connections with others. When we are confident in who we are, and have a solid sense of self, we can engage in relationships from a place of authenticity, free from codependency or the need for external validation. Our relationships become healthier because